We already asked them to fight for their country. Why can't we ask them to walk for it? The most unpopular general of the 28th century. It was week 3 on Kudakto. We landed week 2, but our number wasn't up yet. Was early. Real early. We're passing us exos. Fresh ones. Top of the line too. Water suits with water batteries. Kinda shit you want to show up to your own funeral in. Everyone's pissing themselves because the only reason they pass exos out is because we keep dying too fast or they expect us to die slowly. Same with the food. Could be our last meal, or just the last meal before our taste buds die. I'm getting fitted, and this guy, built like a brick on its side, he leans over to me, tells me about the kind of storm we're walking into. I tell him to shut the fuck up. Doesn't listen. Says it's something out of a history book. Real shitstorm. Like a regiment of shit. I told him to fucking stop it before I decked him with the Exo one. And told me we'd be better off if I did. Another fucker leans in, bent like straw, asks the brick why. I tried to zone it out. All it's doing is psyching me out. Brick says the stupidest fucking thing I've heard. It's all trenches. Trenches for miles and miles. I heard it from my brother. It's because buildings are too soft. A hole in the ground is going to stay a hole in the ground no matter how many missiles you throw at it. Straw calls him out on this bullshit. Even asked, who started digging first? Brick just fucking shrugs like he wasn't the one who brought it up. He starts it up again, doesn't even answer Straw's question. You know, the suits aren't for the fighting. They aren't even for digging. They're for walking. Straw just gives him the look like she ate a whole lemon, peeled last. That's dumb as shit. I nodded along. Exos were expensive. Most were lucky to get a used one. Shelling out just to get everyone a fancy walker was stupid, but if fighting taught me anything, the military was stupid enough to make that a smart idea. Brick looks down at the floor like we just killed his high. Doesn't say a word when we pile into the truck. Doesn't say shit for 40 minutes as we're getting driven right to the front. Not a fucking word when we were getting off. Then I fucking saw it. His wide-ass grin on his wide-ass face on his wide-ass self. Brick was fucking right. It's all trenches. Next thing I knew, Straw was putting boxes on my back. Shoulders even. I was doing the same to Brick, putting on extra because I was so pissed. To his credit, Brick never said a word. He just smiled. Smiled when he picked up the boxes meant for our hands too. Smiled when we entered the trenches with his tall dirt walls. For the next 3 hours, it was nothing but dirt walls and Brick's ass in my face. But just from the way he was walking, I could tell Brick was still smiling then too. The first hour passes, and I check my clock. Only 5 minutes passed. I fucking wish I'd decked him. I never saw the inside of those trenches. It was never my job, and honestly, I'm glad it never was. I was desk. Almost never left it. I counted every person that walked in and every body that walked out. It was day after day of checking boxes, greeting the new guys, and watching them disappear into the trench. It wasn't the most interesting, but sure as hell beat that 5-mile hike, and the fight after it. Everyone made that hike, most did it twice, way up and down. But as far as I'm concerned, the real heroes are the ones that did it 4 times a day, every day. Some basic math. Trucks don't fit in trenches, and the floors definitely weren't smooth enough for carts. And just because the supplies stop doesn't mean the war does, so the supplies can't stop. So it was simple. Every meal, bullet, and drop of blood needed to be carried. The soldiers in transport never signed up for that. They did trains and planes and boats. No one thought they'd have to walk it. But they still did it, with some complaints, but they still did it. Because if they didn't do it, at that point, no one would. They start the day putting on their exos with fresh batteries. They load each other up, and without a word, they start walking. On the way down, they brought injured that were taking up space. They had a whole base up there, with a hospital and TV. Once the batteries got swapped and meals were had, they do it all over again. Wake up, eat breakfast, disappear for 6 hours, eat lunch, disappear for 6 hours, eat dinner, go to sleep. I'm sure they knew what they were doing, with the exos giving them an extra 200 to play with, but that was weight. Exos didn't do shit for the heat. And you could tell just by watching them. They'd be thinner from the water loss, no matter the number of rest stops or bottles of water. I swear, Those trenches got deeper at the end of it, carved out by sweat and boots. Those trenches were like a fucking vampire. There's a reason we've gone to great lengths to hide the identity of the infamous general. The words said that day have been the source of a lot of knee and back pain, and I wouldn't blame anyone if they felt compelled to do some post-war fragging. But truthfully, from the top and the bottom, it was the right move at the time. Kudakko was a fucking nightmare. Trenches are a fucking nightmare. We've tried to move on. We really have. For a period of time, we hoped, we begged, we fucking prayed for a lightning war. We even compromised with the messiness of urban warfare. But from the dawn of time, ever since the first man could shit in his hand and fling it, we've been obsessed with digging holes to avoid it. We still don't know who dug the first hole, but it doesn't really matter. A hole was going to get dug no matter what. You cannot ask a soldier to stay out of cover, and given the chance, a soldier will make their own. Our job was to find a way to work around it, to find a way to get supplies into the maze of trenches. Airdrops never landed right because of the weather, and they were always shot down before we could find out if they ever did. And filling in the trenches for trucks was non-negotiable. The constantly shifting line made it risky. Then someone spoke up. Someone asked us to work harder, not smarter. And just like that, every soldier was expected to carry more on their way in. They'd carry in all the ammo they'd ever fire, all the meals they'd ever eat, all the blood they'd ever bleed, plus a little extra. Transportation had the luck of the draw, being asked to do their jobs, but a million times slower. They always were the lifeblood of any war, but now they filled the veins that were the trenches.